A warm welcome to IGNOU. If you are creative, if you can write well, and if you can visualize, mass communication is the correct career option for you. I am going to talk about postgraduate diploma in journalism and mass communication, which is also the first year of MA program in journalism and mass communication. So any learner who has done a postgraduate diploma in journalism and mass communication is eligible to take admission straight away into the second year of our master's program in journalism and mass communication. Duration to complete this program is minimum 1 year, and because we have this inherent flexibility in distance education system, you can take up to 3 years to complete this program. The minimum eligibility criteria for taking admission in this program is bachelor's in any discipline. To give you a glimpse of what are the various components of this program, we begin with telling you what mass communication is, what are the various areas, various branches of mass communication. Then we go on to tell you about the various reporting techniques and beats of reporting, followed by media ethics, the principles, the codes of conduct that you must follow, and we also focus on the writing skills and editing skills for print media. Now, this program comprises of 8 courses of 4 credits each. 25% of the entire program is practical based. So we have 6 theory courses and 2 practical courses. This program is so
A very warm welcome to all the viewers for this session, in which we will be discussing some basic concepts and principles that would be upon the overview, giving an overview of Indian classical dances. The principles and the concepts which we would be dealing with would be mainly focusing on concepts of rasa and bhava. So, mainly intended at the CPABN certificate level students who are 10th plus pass. So it's an introductory level course. So here we talk about Indian dance forms as such, and let me go into the topic right away. When we talk about Indian dance forms, you would have seen classical dances, tribal dances, or even folk dance, or even dance dramas or ballets. So the basic difference that you see among these is probably some very little difference that a layperson would be able to recognize in terms of the costume, or even the music, the musical accompanist, the way they sing, the way the gestural language articulates a meaning, and so on and so forth. So for a student of dance, what as a student would look at a dance performance, you would find that these subtle elements can put into a better perspective when you understand certain concepts in terms of the structure of the dance, in terms of the performance style, in terms of the costume, and so on. So let us go into in depth a little bit more into this overview. Here we can start with a line from Abhinay Darpanam, which is an ancient text, in fact by Nandikeshwara. So Nandikeshwara's Abhinay Darpanam starts with a few lines which goes on like this: Angikam bhuvanam yasya vachikam sarva vangmayam aharyam chandra taradi tam numah satvikam shivam. So these 2 lines are on Lord Shiva, and it covers and it portrays Shiva as an omnipresent whole who embodies the concepts of Angika, Vachika, Aharya and Satvika. So the whole body is described as such: his speech, his language, his costumes and his bhava. So Nandikeshwara brings these concepts of Angika, Aharya, Vachika and Satvika into forefront. As a student of dance, it is very important to look at these concepts with a subtle lens, because these are things that help you understand dance in a better way. We in this session will be covering main aspects of Satvika Abhinaya: Angika, Vachika, Aharya and Satvika. These are the 4 components of any dance or dance drama or dance ballet. The dance, as we say, may be folk dance, maybe tribal dance, maybe classical dance and other forms of community dance or contemporary dance. Angika, Aharya, Vachika and Satvika. These 4 components are etched very clearly, and we take it for granted that these are analyzed very perfectly in classical dance forms. So there we go about delineating these concepts in classical dance forms, where we would be covering Bharatanatyam, Odissi, Kuchipudi, Manipuri, Kathakali and the other dance forms in the lecture series that will be taken up in the forthcoming days. So from Nandikeshwara's Abhinaya Darpana, which delineates these 4 concepts of Angika, Vachika, Aharya and Satvika, we go on to this concept called Satvika Abhinaya, which deals in detail with Rasa and Bhava. Now you may be wondering, why Satvika Abhinaya? Satvika Abhinaya is that concept which takes dance to a different level when compared with other arts. There are different art forms which portray and which convey meaning in different ways. There are literary arts wherein creative writing is involved. There are visual arts where a painting, or it may be through sculpture or media art or applied art. So these are visual arts. And then there are performing arts which include music, dance, drama or theatre. So here when it comes to Satvika Abhinaya, what it includes is that concept of expression, of bodily expression, through which an artist conveys in a way that neither the visual artist or the literary artist portrays their feelings or their emotions. So this is what stands apart, and let us take this into consideration when we start the session. And this being a basic introductory level course, we would be going through some aspects of rasa and what leads to rasa, what are the components in dance that leads to rasa. So let us look at rasa as such. It talks about, it is the aesthetic sentiment that is experienced by the audience or the onlooker, mainly called the rasika. It is bhava that leads to rasa. Herein comes in another concept called bhava, literally meaning essence. Rasa is the aesthetic bliss. It is a product of the aesthetic performing art. So it is a bliss that the audience experiences, and this is the first and the foremost motive, the primary motive of any performing art. Creation of rasa in the audience is the first and the primary motive. So here it goes. It is the outcome of the moods portrayed. And what are these moods portrayed? These are the mental states, or what is called the bhava. So the rasas are the sentiments that help one realize the potential of the moods, and the outcome is aesthetic bliss. So here Bharata in his Natya Shastra, which is an ancient text, has clearly demarcated different kinds of moods or the psychological states and the sentiments that arise from them. He has said, given the name Ashtarasa. Now, what we know as a concept of Navarasa was not dealt with Bharata earlier. Navarasa with addition of Shantarasa is a later phenomenon. So here we have Shrangara, Hasya, Karuna, Raudra, Veera, Bhayanaka, Adbhuta, Bhibhatsa and Adbhuta. So the later addition is Shanta. So here we have the Navarasa. So Shrangara, Hasya, Karuna, Raudra, Veera, Bhayanaka, Bhibhatsa, Adbhuta, Shanta. Shrangara is the erotic sentiment. Hasya, likewise, when you deal with the Hasya Rasa, is the outcome of Hasya is laughter. It is an outcome of laughter, and there is a huge amount of joy that comes out of it, and it may be in the form of satire also. There are many ways of representing these rasas through different bhavas. So, Vibhava Anubhava Sanchari Samyogat Rasa Nishpattihi. What does Bharata also state? It is a combination of Vibhava, Anubhava, Sanchari, and that is what leads to rasa. What are these different components? The sentiment arises from Vibhava, Anubhava, Sanchari, Samyogat. Vibhava. All these are different kinds of bhavas. As we stated before, that it is the mood. It is the mood and the portrayal of different moods in different ways that creates rasa. Here we have different kinds of bhavas. Vibhava. Vibhavas are, before going into Vibhava, let us talk in detail a little about Bhava also. Bhava is that state of mind that can be portrayed as different emotions. So the moods, when it is portrayed as different emotions, with the help of gestural language, is called as Bhava. The visual expression through which a performer expresses, conveys the inner feeling, and that is that helps the spectator to understand the procedure of what is done on the stage. It may be a concept, it may be a storyline, it may be a theme, or it may be anything in a particular mood, or a combination of different moods, and that is gestures are used to convey them, and this without the use of speech. So this usage of gestural language without the use of speech is what is called bhava. Bhu, bhav, to be, to become. These are the root words of bhava. So as we said earlier, we have Vibhava, Anubhava, Sanchari, Samyogat, Rasa Nishpati, a combination of all these. Let us look at Sthai Bhava, which is not there in that line, but then this is the predominant state, or the bhava that directly corresponds with a rasa. So Sthai Bhavas are also, Bharata enumerates 8 Sthai Bhavas which corresponds with the 8 rasas, the Ashta Rasa which he talks about. So here Rati is corresponding with Shrangara, the rasa which we saw earlier, laughter, Hasa, Hasya Rasa, sorrow, Shoka. So Shrangara, Hasya, Karuna. Karuna is what is an outcome of sorrow. When an outcome of the bhava, the gestural language, is a different rasa. So here we have Shoka and Karuna, that leads to Karuna. Krodha, which leads to Raudra. Raudra rasa. Krodha, that leads to Raudra. Utsaha, Shrangara, Hasya, Karuna, Raudra, Veera. Veera is what corresponds to the Sthai Bhava of Utsaha. Veera, Bhayanaka, Bhaya. And Bhibhatsa is caused by disgust. The expressions that cause, the expressions that portray disgust leads to Bhibhatsa. And Adbhuta is by Vismaya. The final one is Nirveda. There are different Sthai Bhavas which are correlated with the Shantarasa, but here we have also a predominantly used Sthai Bhava called detachment or the Nirveda. So these are the list of Sthai Bhavas, and which lead to different rasas. So we understood rasa as an aesthetic bliss, an aesthetic delight that arises out of in the audience after witnessing a performance, or after an onlooker, any layperson also, any rasa also, or a student, anyone can experience this rasa when they see. It is not only performance, it may be a visual painting also that leads to a particular rasa. It may be anything, but then when you correlate it with dance, these are the specific elements that go into the performance. So we talked about sthai bhava also. The next one, vibhava, the predominant, the most important. Maybe dominant will be sthai bhava, but vibhava is the cause. The cause is always that leads to the effect. Here we have vibhava, which causes the anubhava. Anubhava is that which follows the vibhava. Vibhava, anubhava, sanchari or vyabhichari. So these are the three components that help the sthai bhava realize rasa in its due course. So here we have vibhava, which are also called determinants or the stimulants of the emotion, and they are of two types. One is alambana vibhava, the other one is uddipana vibhava. So emotions, or the conditions or the causes that generate the emotions, these are called the karanam, the main cause, and it may be internal and external. So what we have writers here pointing out that visheshena bhavyate iti vibhava. It is a prominent, it is very important, and that is what leads the sthai bhava to create rasa. As vibhava is what leads to the anubhava, and anubhava along with the transitory states, all these together are make a whole. So here we have alambana vibhava and then uddipana vibhava. Alambana are the main determinants, the causatives. It may be in the form of human objects, or it may be the substratum, the cause, the link, or it may be a hero, a heroine, or if it is some other concept, then the reason why a certain incident is occurring may also be the vibhava. Example of alambana vibhava, as I said, it may be in the form of a hero or a heroine, and then the interactions between them, or a hero and an anti-hero, and what episodes continue after that. But then what is the other form of alambana vibhava? It may be incidents which lead to the concept or the storyline going ahead. It may be, for example, in Krishna lifting up the Govardhana, it is Indra's jealousy, Indra's anger, or there may be many other incidents that precede the Govardhanagiri. So these are the alambana vibhava. Uddipana vibhava are the excitants. Anything, everything will have some real reason, and those reasons which support the reason for a performance to go into the anubhava mode for the expression. So in video, when we edit a video, we say special effects. So these are the special effects, the uddipana, the excitants. It may be the cool breeze, or it may be thunder, it may be lightning, or it may be the presence of birds, it may be the presence of the concept that which creates the ambience is the uddipana vibhava. Here we have vibhava, alambana vibhava, and uddipana vibhava. Then let us move on to the next concept, where we talk about using of gestural language. We said we are dealing with performance arts. Here in performance arts, when we talk about sattvika abhinaya, as I said earlier, we are looking at sattvika abhinaya. So here in sattvika abhinaya, predominantly the usage of gestural language. And what is gestural language? It may be the movement of head, it may be the movement of a head in totality, or the eyes with different type of glances to portray different moods, or the expression through hands or hand gestures, the positioning of the feet, the positioning of the torso, or so on and so forth. So these are the gestural language and the types of the movements of different parts of the body, the angika of the body in different ways. So that the usage of angika abhinaya is what follows in anubhava. So anubhava uses angika abhinaya in detail. So what are the physical responses? Anu is that which follows. The physical responses are the feeling and the feelings that follow the vibhava. The emotion, these are the emotional reactions that are helped out to be performed through the gestural language and facial expressions. So here we have these which are the effects of the dominant state. A dominant state is the sthai bhava, which goes on and it doesn't deflect from its dominant state. And vibhava and anubhava are the supporting factors of the sthai bhava. We also talked about vyabhichari bhava. Vibhava, anubhava, sanchari, samyogat. Sanchari is a term which is also known as vyabhichari. So we have looked at this concept of sthai bhava, which is a dominant state. Here we have this concept called vyabhichari bhava, which is a transient state, which is a non-dominant state. Transient means it comes up and then submerges again, just like a wave. So it is very it is transient. It is not prominent. But then what is the purpose of the transitory or the vyabhichari bhava? It heightens the effect of the sthai bhava. There are 33 vyabhichari bhavas which are clearly explained by in Natya Shastra by Bharata, and many other writers have also pointed out many additional transitory states. Let us look at a few of them. Here we have nirveda, glani. Nirveda is detachment, glani, fatigue, shankha, doubt, asuya, and so on and so forth. There are 33 transitory states. For example, if you take Sringara, in which Rati is the sthai bhava. So what may be the transitory state in a sthai bhava? You can imagine. And some of these states which can heighten the effect of the dominant state. So Shankha. Shankha is a very important concept. Here it says doubt. Shankha is doubt. There are two friends. Maybe the theme of this thing is friendship, and there are two friends. Maybe there is a cause of misapprehension about something, and then there is a doubt created. But then the friendship is the sthai bhava here. Sakhya. The friendship is the sthai bhava, but then there may arise doubts. There may arise fatigue, or they may arise irshya or asuya. These are the subtle things which come up and then go off, but then which heighten the expression of the sthai bhava, which is the mainstay. And the final one, which also helps out the sattvika abhinaya, is the sattvika bhava. One should understand the difference between sattvika abhinaya and sattvika bhava. Sattvika abhinaya is that composite whole that has all the elements of, is one of the elements of the four concepts which we talked as angika, vachika, ahari and sattvika. But then is sattvika abhinaya is that composite whole that looks at rasa and bhava, and how the rasa is produced through vibhava, anubhava and vyabhichari and the sthai bhavas. Sattvika bhava is also part of the concept that leads to the rasa, but these are called as involuntary states. Sattvika. Sattvika, it is so called because it arises from the sattva, and then what arises from the sattva is out of deep concentration. It may be, it's also called as an anubhava, but then it goes much deeper, because there are certain things which are not portrayed in an easier way, and it needs a little more concentration than the anubhavas. Stambha pralaya romancho. Romancha means horripilation. It is not very easy to portray horripilation on the stage unless you are in tune with what is happening. Svedo Vaivarnya, color, the color of the body changes, the voice trembles, Vepatu, Ashru, tears rolling down, Vaisvarya, Nityashtau. There are 8 kinds of Satvika Abhinaya that are explained by Bharata. This is Satvika Bhava. And to complete this whole session, we have looked at Rasa and Bhava. But then, where does this Rasa and Bhava come in dance? This is mostly done initially when Bharata's Natya Shastra is about Natya. But where did this concept of Nritta or Nritya come in? That we always talk about, the different aspects of dance. Nritta is that concept which Lord Shiva brought in. It is so said that Lord Shiva, after witnessing Bharata's the performance made by Bharata, he asked Tandu, his disciple, to talk to Bharata and include his own art form, which was called Tandava, into the Nataka. So Tandava was supposedly taught to the disciples of Bharata. So this extension of the Nritta, which came into the Natya and that was talked about in the preliminaries, is the Nritta, which is Sansani Bhava. So we will also talk about Nritya, which is a combination which uses gestural language, as we said, Satvika Bhava, Satvika Abhinaya, and Vibhava Anubhava and Sthai Bhava, which leads to Rasa. This comes in Nritya. So all this together with all the 4 aspects of Angika, Vachika, Satvika and Aharya are presented in Natya. I do hope you have understood these introductory session which has dealt with the Rasa and the Bhavas, and also touched upon some important things of Nritta, Nritya and Natya. Look forward to seeing you in the coming sessions. Thank you.